Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Michelle Hausbeck, and I am here in the Community Connections group with Nancy Gabriel. Good
That's
morning.
me. I'm sitting up straight because my mother would have told me to sit up straight.
I know. I am too, right? No slouching. So Nancy is a mediator, and she owns Mediation Around the Table. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But first, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Nancy?
Well, I am loving what I'm doing. That's the first thing that came to my mind. I didn't always say that. Spent many, many years as a paralegal and a legal administrator. Liked it, never loved it. I love helping people through the mediation process. I was born in Milwaukee, grew up in LA. I've been in Vegas for, it'll be 28 years this month. Vegas is home. Yeah, it's home. And I love it here. I'm a widow. My husband died 12 years ago, and that's what precipitated my becoming a mediator. And I miss him every day, but I am not lonely because I have a wonderful circle of friends and family who look out for me.
And we love you.
Likewise. I love football. No NFL, maybe. I don't know. Fingers crossed.
Fingers
crossed. I love football. I love to cook and bake and entertain and hang out in my backyard swimming.
And Nancy, I have to put this in here. Nancy is a fantastic, fantastic cook. Tell them about your rule.
My rule.
If you live within X amount of...
Yeah. Okay, so whenever I hear people that are house hunting, I say, look, if you move within 1 mile of me in Henderson, your home will come with meals. Because I cook all the time and I'm not crazy about leftovers. So and it's hard to cook for one. So
right.
If it's within a 1 mile radius, I'll deliver. And I promise I'll show up.
So if you guys are looking to move and you want, Nancy Meals on Wheels.
I cook healthy, but delicious. And I love to make soups and stews and chilies, and I bake. So yeah, find a house within 1 mile from me, 89052, and your home will come with meals.
And you make a killer monkey bread.
Oh, I need to get you that recipe, don't I?
Yes, you do.
Okay. I have to figure it out because I didn't really follow a recipe.
And so NFL, who are your teams?
Anybody who's winning. I am the ultimate fair weather fan, but I'm a shareholder of the Green Bay Packers, as you know.
Yeah.
My late husband was a Philadelphia Eagles fan, so they're in my heart. And I am going to be a Raiders fan.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I need an AFC team.
That's true. Yep, you got 2 NFCs in there. Mm-hmm. And you have the best NFC team, the Packers.
Of course. Did you hear Aaron Rodgers was almost trapped in Peru?
No.
Google it.
Okay, I will Google that.
Yeah.
For anybody that doesn't know, I'm a huge Packers fan. Yes, I will Google that. Okay. You gave us a ton of facts about yourself, but what's one fun fact?
Fun fact. Okay.
On the spot.
You may not know this, Michelle. You might, but I was an undefeated champion on $100,000 pyramid in the early 90s.
Really?
I guess you didn't know that, huh?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I was on for 5 days. I won $33,500. Gone. No longer have it. And a trip to Costa Rica. And I qualified for the 100,000 tournament. I was sitting in the green room and they were taping qualifiers right up until the time I was scheduled to go on and compete for 100 grand. And 2 people, me and one other person, our times got beat at the last minute. And I had just spent a ton of money on a beautiful outfit to wear on national television. And I went, aw.
Do you have the recording of that anymore?
I do.
I would love to see that.
Yeah. I'll share it with you.
You should share that on social media. That would be fun.
It was a couple husbands ago too, so my last name was different.
How good. That's an amazing fun fact. I've always wanted to be on a game show.
Yeah, it was super fun. It was a great experience.
How fun. Okay. That fun fact is topping the fun facts so far.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Not that I'm competitive or anything.
No, not at all. So you're a mediator.
Hmm.
Can you explain that a little bit for people that might not quite understand what
Sure.
that is or what that entails?
Sure, I'd love to. I am a neutral third party. I help people come to their own resolution about a conflict. Most of my practice is divorce and family related, mainly because that's what comes in the door. And people, when I first started mediating 9 years ago, people in Southern Nevada didn't know what mediation was.
Right.
Now, everybody hopefully knows what mediation is. So what I like to say is I'm not a lawyer, but I know the law. I just am prohibited from giving legal advice. And I'm not a therapist, so I'm not going to talk to my clients about potty training or thumb sucking or anything like that. I'm not a CPA. I can't give tax advice. And most importantly, I'm not a judge, nor am I judgmental. And I think that's a really important trait for a mediator in order to stay neutral.
Yeah. So if we had to simplify it, it's helping people to communicate to come to a resolution
Of their conflict. And
right.
The process is the same irrespective of the conflict. So I've done landlord-tenant mediations. I've done neighbor-to-neighbor mediations. I've done families that haven't spoken to each other in years come together. And I have done divorce mediation, parenting plans for non-married parents, child custody situations, elder mediation, business mediations. I call them business divorces.
Yep.
So really anybody, I like to say anybody who can be in the same room with the person they're in conflict with is a candidate for mediation.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, just knowing you over the years and knowing who you are just so well equipped as a person and your nature to be able to do this. So when you say that you love what you do, it makes perfect sense. And you actually won an award, did you not?
I did. I won Best of Las Vegas in the category of alternative dispute resolution. And I'm proud of it. I was kind of hesitant to bring it up, like when I'm having new clients come in for the first time, but now I am talking about it because it's a good thing.
Oh, absolutely. And completely well earned and well deserved. So congratulations on that one and shout that from the rooftop.
You got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. So we're in some interesting times right now.
We are.
Are you set up virtually to be able to help? I know you do a lot in person typically.
I prefer to work in person, but I did a Zoom mediation last week. First meeting with the couple after they retained me. And I was a little bit hesitant. And I found that it was really no different than having them sit across my desk at my office. I've done telephonic mediations, conference calls. Don't like those so much because I can't read facial expressions or body language.
Right.
And this mediation I did last week was a perfect example of it. We went almost an hour and a half. And about the hour 15 mark, I could see the husband was fidgety. And we were in some tough times right there, some tough topics. And I just kind of called a timeout and said, you've done great. You've resolved at least 75% of your issues, but I can see that you're tired and I'm tired as well. So let's resume and I will send you the agenda of what has yet to be decided. And you could just see visually, their shoulders went like that. It was important. So virtual mediation is a good substitute for now.
So with the virtual being, an option, can you go outside of the state of Nevada or you can?
The only thing is, if there are laws involved, if I'm just simply helping, I don't mean to say just, but I'm helping a family resolve a conflict, or if I'm helping with a particular issue that doesn't involve, let's say, divorce or probate or anything like that, yeah, absolutely. I defer to the laws of the state, obviously, in which the conflict is taking place, but
Right.
I can also do research on that as well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So a little silver lining maybe that, now that you've done some virtual, that we go outside Nevada.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a really good point. I'm going to have to address that.
Awesome.
Yeah. Silver lining. Writing that
You got to
down.
find them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So being a mediator, being very in tune, right, with people's emotions and feelings and conflicts, what are some things, or have you seen some things going on right now with what we're going through that you could share some helpful tips or some advice from your standpoint?
Well, I'm seeing and hearing a lot of cabin fever conversations. Yeah. So you're stuck at home with your spouse and children, and it sometimes can bring out the worst in us. Sometimes it can bring out the best in us.
Right.
My one tip is give each other space. Maybe make an office hours of 9 to 11 and close the door and distance yourself from your spouse, your kids, your partner, your parents, whoever you're living with. Have some alone time without them. And then pick some fun time too. Pick an activity, play a game, do a puzzle, watch a movie you've seen a million times before, a Christmas movie, for example, and just disconnect from the reality that we're all going through and connect with each other. And then try and give your partner, your family, a compliment, at least one or two a day. Do you know, Michelle, you have beautiful eyes? Or, whatever. I mean, I'm looking at them right now, so that was easy. Give a compliment. Oftentimes we compliment random strangers, which is a great thing, but we forget to compliment the people who are closest to us because we assume they already know we think that. And I'm going to guess, even though you're right, say it anyway.
Yeah. That's a great point. We tend to forget and assume that the people closest to us, and now we're close to them 24/7,
right,
know how we feel about them in a positive way. So just to reiterate that.
Yeah.
And I love the space, because even though we're in, one house together, there's still separate rooms or.
Right. You have a bathroom, hopefully,
Right.
Run a bath and close the door. Do something to because not only are you giving yourself space, you're giving the rest of your family space as well.
Right. That's a fantastic tip.
Thank you. I just thought of that off the top of my head.
You're so good. You're so good. So one thing we chatted about earlier last week when you and I just had a Zoom call, right, to catch up, was, and I've had this conversation with quite a few people, is the emotions that we're all going through and the feelings that we're having relates a lot to loss or grief.
Right.
And you wrote a blog about it.
I did. I wrote a blog called The 5 Stages of Sheltering in Place.
And I thought it was so funny that day because I had 3 conversations about how what's happening now and what we're going through is so relatable to the stages of grief.
Of grief.
Right. I lost my pretty much fiance about almost 6 years ago, so I get that. And as soon as somebody said those words, that it's relatable to grief, all my emotions started clicking. I could name them. I finally understood it. And then your blog comes out and I read that and I'm like, man, okay, this really helps, because when we can identify emotions, we can help to work through them.
And when we know we're not alone in feeling them.
Right. Yeah. You're not crazy anymore, right? Because
Correct.
sometimes we think we're all alone or we're crazy or,
Or we have to hide it.
yep. Yep. And I mean, we're all in this boat together right now,
Absolutely.
unfortunately, fortunately, right?
Right. Right.
But I wanted to ask you if you would just read your blog. You write a blog every single week, and they're always 3-minute reads, so they're
Or
really
less.
digestible. I know you, so I can hear your voice and your personality coming through. But I would love for you to share this with us today, if you don't
Thank
mind.
you. I have it handy right here.
Well, look at that.
So it's called The 5 Stages of Sheltering in Place. And it starts like this. I recently had a conversation with a dear friend who pointed out to me that my attitude towards self-quarantine has progressed in much the same manner as one would deal with grief. What a keen observation. With complete transparency, I admit that I spent a relatively long time stuck in the first stage, and I hung out for a respectable length of time in the second stage. Stage 3 didn't last too long, and I pretty much did a drive-by at stage 4. That leaves stage 5, and I'm planning on doing my best to stay there for the duration. And now I'll take you through my own personal journey in the hopes that you'll share yours. Stage 1 is denial. This isn't something that's going to affect me. I live alone. I'm not in contact with a lot of random people. I intend to continue to live my life. Stage 2, anger. Okay, what's the deal with toilet paper? How can people be so insensitive as to hoard it? And why is what's happening in China and Italy and Washington and New York, for that matter, affecting me? Why are there daily press conferences? And why are they preempting The View? And what on earth is going on at the grocery store? Stage 3, bargaining. I'm just going to get my hair colored, stop at Target, and then I'll stay home. I'm just going into the office for half a day on Monday, and then I'll stay home. I'm just going to run out to the liquor store, and then I'll stay home. Stage 4, depression. I'm getting fat. I'm getting lazy. I'm getting short-tempered. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with the world? Why are people so negative? Why are people so scared? Am I missing something? Stage 5, acceptance. As of now, I am committed to following the rules and guidelines and to putting on a cheerful, albeit without makeup, face. I am looking for things to laugh about and then to share with my friends and family. I'm staying busy and productive, all the while trying to find balance between the stuff I have to do and the stuff I want to do. For me, there are 2 ultra important parts to stage 5. The first is reaching out to others to make sure all is well. And the second is to remain grateful for what I have. My gratitude extends to each and every person who reads my weekly blogs and to those who help me with your likes, comments, and shares. You're why this blogging gig brings me so much joy, and I thank you. If you find yourself navigating through your own 5 stages of captivity and have figured out a thing or 2 along the way, I'd love for you to share your wisdom. Stay healthy.
Thank you.
Thank you. I do love writing these blogs, I gotta tell you. They're therapeutic for me.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I love reading them.
Thank you.
So why do you, in your opinion, why do you think that it is so relatable to the stages of grief?
Because we're all going through it. And some people have told me that they've gone through those 5 stages in the same day, sometimes even in the same hour. And some people are just drifting through it without paying much attention or giving it much thought. And some people are just so focused on the depression or the denial that they lose sight of the goal, which is acceptance.
Right. Yeah, and I know, going through grief, my grief, and even like what's going on now, there's no straight line.
No.
Right? You can bounce all over, you go up and down, however you want to visually.
The waves are what I call it, but yeah.
Right. I always equated it to a roller coaster.
True.
But now when I was reading your blog, I thought it's not a roller coaster for me because that is like a straight line, even if it's going in circles. Now for me, it's like a ping pong. Like I feel like it's, over here and then you bounce over here.
Well, and the goal in everybody's grief journey, whether it's because of the virus or because of a death or a divorce or a loss of a job, they're all forms of grief, and everybody's journey is going to be different. But in my humble opinion, the goal is to get to acceptance.
Right.
And even if you need to reestablish that goal every hour, reestablish it. Say, I need to get there. What is it going to take for me to get there today, for now?
Right. Yeah, because going through, the stages of grief or loss,
Mhm.
when we say grief, it doesn't always mean the loss of a person,
Correct.
right? Grief could mean loss in a lot of forms, like you said, loss
A
of job,
job. Mhm.
right? Which a lot of people are going through right
Sure.
now. Everybody's journey looks different, like you said.
Mhm.
And, everyone says day by day. Sometimes it is. It's minute by minute,
Yeah.
hour by hour.
Yeah. And we don't know necessarily what's going to trigger an emotion.
Right.
It could be a press conference. It could be, hearing somebody who knew somebody who knows somebody kind of a thing.
Right.
You don't know what's going to trigger it.
Yep. I think it's just being very aware too of how you are feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we start to go down the rabbit hole, as I call it, and we don't even realize we're there
Right.
until hours later.
Right. And so through this process, I wish I had patented this phrase because I say it so often. Through this process of loss or grief or pandemic, treat yourself gently.
Mm-hmm.
3 words, treat yourself gently.
Yep.
We're going to get through this.
We
And
will.
don't beat yourself up if, you like I tend to do when I am carb loading. We're going to get through this. Treat yourself gently.
Yeah, treat yourself gently, treat others gently, be
Mm-hmm.
kind, be, patient.
Mm-hmm. Compassionate.
Compassionate. Yeah, that's a great word. You
Yeah.
are the wordsmith.
I love words. Well, and the truth is, I can't speak to how my neighbor is feeling right now. I can't say, oh, you're wrong for, being concerned, or you're wrong for being blasé. I don't have the right to judge how somebody else is dealing with this situation or any situation, because
Right.
our feelings are our own.
Right. And feelings aren't wrong. And, we all have a different way of dealing with things because of our perspective.
Right. And our history, exactly.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with me and having this conversation. I think a lot of people, it's hour by hour, day by day, and it's hard to put a name on what we're feeling because there's so many emotions
Mm-hmm.
that they get jumbled.
And if we keep acceptance as the goal, we can allow ourselves to feel what we're feeling as long as we're striving to get to acceptance, even if it's just for now.
Right. And to learn how to, manage with where we're at and get through it.
Mm-hmm.
I think
and
is
eat pizza.
And eat pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Nancy didn't get her pizza delivered last night, so
I'm stinging a little. It still hurts a bit.
she needs
I'll
her
be
pizza.
fine. I'm treating myself gently.
Right. So how can we help you right now?
Wow, that's a great question. I ask that all the time, and I like when somebody asks it of me, so thank you. Just keep in mind that when our quarantine situation is over, there are going to be relationships that didn't survive. I just read something on the internet the other day that said that after China lifted its self-quarantine, there were record numbers of divorces being filed.
Wow.
Now, I want it to be known that I am not a proponent of divorce per se. I am a proponent of peaceful divorce, amicable divorce where, especially where children are involved, that you continue to co-parent with respect and put your kids first. So how you can help me is if you hear about a situation where a relationship is ending, that you tell that person who's confiding in you to talk to a mediator before hiring a lawyer.
Perfect.
It can preserve the relationship, and it can save tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh, absolutely. Have you ever had anyone that has come to you to go through mediation and ended up not getting divorced? Or do they typically know that's what they want?
Yes, but not very often.
Okay.
Not
I
very
was just
often.
curious.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, I've been through a divorce myself, and I've had many friends go through it. And if mediation would have been known about and could have been the first course of action, I know it would have saved a lot of tears and anger
Mm-hmm.
and even more hurt feelings and finances.
Yeah. And it doesn't need, some need to go to court. And
Right.
even if I had a case recently where they were in agreement on everything except child support.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only thing they couldn't agree on. And they ended up going to court, but they only went to court on one issue instead of starting from square one and relitigating the things that they had already agreed upon.
Right.
So that's why I say see a mediator first.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
not everyone's a candidate for mediation. And I'm going to refer to divorce right now because that's prevalent. Because if there are situations of domestic violence, I can't help. They need
Right.
to get restraining orders and move forward in the litigation system. But chances are they're good candidates for divorce if they can sit in the same room with each other.
Okay. Thank you.
No, thank you.
You're welcome. So how can we get a hold of you?
Well, right now, just email me or call me or go on my website and hit the contact us button. My website is mediationaroundthetable.com. Email is nancy@mediationaroundthetable.com. 702-561-8754. I do an initial consultation, whether it's in person or virtually, at no charge. Runs about 30 minutes. And at that time, I will explain to the prospective clients what the mediation process looks like. And more importantly, I will listen to their concerns and their goals and see if it's a good fit for all of us.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you coming on and sharing with us.
I appreciate your asking me, and I'm here for you. I'm here for anybody who just needs to vent. Reach out.
Perfect. And Nancy is a fantastic listener and question asker. I mean, hence what she does for a living. But
well, why do you say that, Michelle? No, I'm kidding.
Right. One thing, I'm going to end this with a compliment to you, because I really, really do appreciate this. When we talk about listening, I'm sure we've all heard this, some people listen to answer, right? So when the other person is talking, you're actually not hearing them. You're formulating your own response.
Correct.
But with you, I always feel, and I know that you are truly listening, whether you've asked a question or it's just conversation. And I just want to thank you for.
What a nice thing. That's a really nice way to end. I appreciate that. Super good compliment.
It's true.
Thanks, Michelle.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. And we'll be back tomorrow with some more interviews. Thank you again, Nancy.
My pleasure.
And have a great day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and
stay
to
home.
Nancy's tip, maybe take some space.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.